Stay tuned for another episode of the Coming Soon podcast with Spider.
And here we go. We're missing one person, but everybody, Spider here, Coming Soon podcast.
Girl had a small emergency.
No. And of course, I mean, I have you guys on here. And just to be exact, I mean, where is everybody at right now?
We are in Martin, Tennessee.
Tennessee?
And we're in Paducah, Kentucky right now. So
Okay. And I think Justin had talked about the you guys being at the border or the borderline. So, of course. And how far apart are you guys? I mean, when it comes to travel time?
About an hour.
Okay, it's not too bad. And is that on foot or by tractor? I'm kidding.
It's by moped.
But yeah, you know, I mean, I have you guys on here for a few reasons. I mean, of course, this film that you guys developed and created, and of course, the trailer's out there, you know, and it looked hella fun. I mean, just the cover itself, and I'm going to share that real quick. And of course, I mean, we're missing Carl at the bottom, but he's on his way. I think he's on the way via tractor, right? Or where is he walking also?
I think he went out in the backwoods for something. Oh, I mean, there he is.
He's out shooting smoke signals.
There you go.
Sorry about He's that stupid alarm again.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm going to post a poster up real quick because this one's a good one. I mean, you know, MotherShrucker is the name of the film. And first off, I mean, MotherShrucker, what the heck does that mean?
Well,
I'm gonna let you handle that, Carl.
we were sitting at a Full Moon Horror Convention in Nashville.
Yeah. And
they were set up, they're vendors. So they're set up, and across the way, there's a guy with a big mask stand. And Leigh said, "Oh, that's a creepy mask. Look at that." And, you know, I was about to air off, you know, an F-bomb. And I'm like, look at this mother. And I look, and there's these two kids standing there. And I'm like, "Shucker here."
And that was it.
I stopped, and I said, "Well, that's a whole ass movie." So here we are.
Man, so it was actually at that convention that you guys found the mask at.
Yeah.
In April.
Yep.
Yeah.
We literally found the mask, and within 3 hours after the show closed, we went to dinner and we sat at the table and literally wrote this thing in like 5-10 minutes.
Wow. Okay. You see, and that in itself, because I mean, of course, when it comes to a lot of slasher films, I mean, everybody's looking for that mask or that certain something to stand out. I mean, this is perfect. I mean, I'm sure the company that produced it. I mean, did you guys get permission to use it, or did Indie Film Rocket?
No,
we didn't. It was just a mask stand. It wasn't like somebody, you know, created it. So,
I mean, somebody created it somewhere, but they were a third-party vendor.
Oh, okay.
I'm hoping they don't look at us as a fourth-party thief.
No, but you see, I mean, in a sense, I mean, you guys are promoting them. So, of course, you know, people are going to be watching the film or watching this interview. They're going to wonder where you guys got it from, look it up, and, you know, possibly purchase some more. So that's actually good for them, right?
Yeah.
Sending them business. Now, of course, I mean, meeting at the convention, I mean, obviously you guys are fans of horror. So and I'll start from the top down, but when did your love for horror begin? I mean, was it at a young age? And we'll start with Justin.
Oh yeah, mine was at a young age. So like during the summer breaks, a lot of times me and my dad would watch them. So you know, I grew up at 5 and 6 years old watching Mad Men and Slaughterhouse and Texas Chainsaw, Halloween, all the greats. So that's just kind of carried on throughout my life. So I've always loved them.
Me, not so much. I didn't get into horror until Justin and I started dating. So,
Oh wow, okay.
yeah. So about what, five years total? Yeah, about 5 years for me. So yeah.
Nice. And gentlemen, what about you guys?
I'll let you take over.
Honestly, I was 6. I remember it vividly. The first really scary thing I ever saw, my dad loved horror and Halloween. Those were his two things. We watched The Great Vampire Killers. It's an old 60s kind of a hammerish type film. And it's set in Russia. These two vampire hunters are killing vampires in the snow and in castles. Scared me to death, and I've loved it ever since.
And Eric, what about you, sir?
For me, it was 1978, and Exorcist came on TV for the first time on broadcast television. Watched it, and I told this story yesterday. Peed my pants, slept in my sister's bed for a month, and then I was like, okay, I got to get into this, and that's why I watched ever since.
Nice, nice. And of course, like I mentioned earlier, I mean, for myself, it was, I grew up in a big family. We were a family of 10, mom and dad, right? So it's 8 siblings, and small house. We grew up in a 2-bedroom home, and growing up, I mean, there was a choice of who we wanted to, where we could sleep at, and one day I decided to pick the sofa. And I'm like, dude, the TV's right here. So I would stay up late watching, reruns, black and white, Twilight Zone, Upper Hitchcock. And, my mom would walk in and I'd have to like act like I'm asleep, but, that's kind of where it began. I kind of got that window open. And I will say this, though, because I am in San Antonio. My mom used to watch Spanish news, right? I mean, as far as films, we used to watch El Santo versus La Momia, the wrestlers versus the monsters and the werewolves. And that's kind of planted a seed as well, So for me, it's always been wrestling and horror, it just kind of went hand on hand. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to like I was earlier before you guys, Carl and Eric jumped on, we were talking about indie films. I mean, how you guys kind of have free range to what you can do, really get creative, and because it is low budget, you're kind of like, well, I don't have this, but I have this here, and you got to make it work. So what household items did you guys use throughout the film?
Oh God. Caro syrup, oatmeal, toilet paper, corn. You name it. We didn't know what we were doing with it. We had no idea what we were doing. We were doing it on the fly. So whatever was laying around, we're like, oh, that'll work. And look, really cheap Dollar General store makeup that I bought, modeling clay, just everything. We literally, none of us had any experience at anything, so we just threw it at the wall and see if it stick.
And let me ask you guys. I mean, did anybody at one point have to go to the hospital? Like, no reactions, nothing?
No. We were good on that.
We were lucky on that because one of our actors, he took one for the team with just a big mouthful of stage blood.
Oh man!
You really shouldn't do. It's not good for you. It's not good for you. And that brother did it. We didn't even ask him. He's like, "No, let's make this." And I was like, "Oh."
You were like, "Wait, we're not filming yet,"
Yeah, and I'm like, "I've been a nurse for 30-something years. I do not want to see you lose your airway."
No, definitely. But yeah, I mean, of course. And when it came to filming, I mean, you guys said you wrote this within less than an hour. So when it came to filming, how long did it take to film?
What, 12, 15 hours tops total?
Well, probably closer to 15 to 20. Yeah.
One, I mean, really, with like the entire cast, I mean, there's 11 people. We had one guy come out one day all to his own, just because he, it was just one day after work, real quick. But our major filming day was 9 in the morning till 9 at night. So we had like one 12-hour day, and then a couple of reshoot days, and that was it. I mean, we literally filmed this in 3 or 4 days. Carl and Eric had a few more just because they had to come down and from Paducah to Martin and film some stuff here. But I mean, really and truly, about 3 days tops is all it took us.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, well let me ask you this, because of course, I mean, this film, I think I had read where you guys posted, I mean, the DVDs are being printed. Is it DVD or Blu-ray?
Blu-ray.
Okay, and so of course, I mean, because of the process, I mean, was it that easy? I mean, because obviously I'm thinking, okay, you know what, you wrote it in 1 hour or less, and you filmed it in 3 days. So I'm thinking, okay, you guys should be up to like 10 films by now, right?
On paper.
Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty, the biggest thing for us, I think, is we were blessed with a great cast. Nobody that we used had ever done anything, with the exception of one guy. He had helped with another movie, a local production there in Kentucky, but he was the only one. And we were blessed. I mean, we met that morning at 9 o'clock. I had 2 people that knew each other, and they did not know any of Carl's people. And they all got together, and then Leigh had a girl that she wanted in it. no one had ever met her, and they all hit it off. And we have like a group chat on Messenger for Facebook, and even to this day, it's not like, oh, the movie's done and we don't want anything to do with each other. They're constantly putting memes and just picking on each other and just having a good time. And it's truly something where a friendship, I think, has been started and carried on just throughout this little 75-minute movie.
Nice.
And it feels good. I mean, it does.
Yeah.
It just, everything from the minute we all sat down as a crew, it just all felt good. There were no egos. There were no, I want to be this, I want to be that. There's nobody trying to stand out or outshine another. It was as real as you could humanly possibly make it. What you see on that
Nobody
screen,
complained about the 110-degree weather.
yeah, it was literally 110-degree heat index. And when you get inside the corn, you can add 10 or 12 degrees to that. It was miserable.
Oh, yeah, there's no wind in there.
Yeah, nobody said a word. Everybody loved it.
I think we literally picked the hottest day of the entire summer out of Tennessee or Kentucky, either one. And we was like, let's film. And we were out there for 12 hours directly in the sunlight. Everyone was sunburnt, but nobody complained. No one was like, God, are we about done where I can, go? We were down in waters and Gatorades and getting it done. And I mean, we couldn't have asked for a better group of people for what we've done.
No, you see, and you said, I mean, when it comes to the whole team, it was 11 total, or you guys plus 11 people?
Yeah, 11 total.
Okay. Sweet, man. And of course, I mean, Eric, I mean, you're quiet over there, man. I mean, what are your thoughts on this, man? I mean, are you happy with the way everything came out?
Most of my shooting was done just me and him.
Yeah.
Okay.
The reason why I can't really speak to on the group as a whole, it's we come up with this, all four of us, and then I work weekends, so the only time I could get out to go shoot was during the week. So me and Carl would go out to the field or whatever with them and shoot what we had to shoot, and then they'd go out and do the other. So I try not to speak too much about what they went through. Mine was much easier.
Let them do all the hard work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let me say this, because of course I think Justin, once again, I mean, we spoke a little bit through messages the other day, and you were talking about, well, actually we talked on the phone, I'm sorry, but some of the people that were involved were in pro wrestlers, right? Correct?
Yes.
And I mean, were those your stunt people, or what?
Well,
no.
No, I've been a wrestling fan my entire life, and my dad actually promoted wrestling shows, just independent in this area for a little bit, and a lot of them I've just known for a big chunk of my life. So when it came time, we needed someone to play the jerk, and there's a guy who I've known him 20 years of my life, and that is his role in professional wrestling is to make you hate him, and he does it to the greatest. Probably, and no joke, he is phenomenal at doing it. I mean, he has people just up in arms, pulling knives, ready to fight him. And so he was the one that we picked, and him and another guy, Dan. He wrestled, did some commentary, commentating for wrestling and stuff. So I kind of picked them because I knew them personally for several years of my life. So.
No, and of course, and I mean, when it comes to acting, I mean, they're pretty much doing it on themselves every show, right? I mean, they got to put up a persona and go with it, so that's pretty cool, man. Now, of course, you mentioned, for the most part, nobody except for the exception of one you mentioned had some acting, like as far as what they've done. But during this whole film, were there any happy accidents? I mean, were there something that you were like, you know what, that's not in the script, but we're gonna keep that?
Well, the best way to put that is there was no script.
I mean, there was an outline. I'll say
Okay,
We
that.
had a very vague
There's an
outline,
Oh, ad lib.
and we said, "Here's the deal. Here's where we're at. This is what. Say whatever you want to. Just make it look legit." And
Nice.
they literally had no lines to learn, and what you see.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I'm so proud of Leigh and Justin. None of us have any experience at all. Literally, we've never used a camera or anything. 99% of what you see in this film are first takes. First takes every time. The cast absolutely freaking nailed it. Some of the most funniest lines I've ever heard in a movie in my life came out of the mouths of these young girls. They just blurted it out. And everything that we heard was like the best thing we've ever heard in film for us.
Nice. No, you see, and I've been in a few indie films, and of course, a lot of times that's what happens. I mean, they kind of have like an outline, or like, you know what, this is you're this guy, you're playing this character. Just go with it, you know, and then that's pretty much what happens. I mean, so that does make sense. Now, let me say, when it comes to the film itself, because you talked about 12 hours. Was that 12 hours in one shoot, or for those days that you guys shot the film?
The one main day was a full 12 hours, and
Oh
then we had
wow,
another
okay.
partial day
About
that
6 or
about
7
half
hours
the
that day.
cast had to film. And then the times that Carl and Eric had to come and shoot the extra stuff between
There's
them.
4 hour
Um,
days,
so
something like
yeah,
that.
it wasn't, yeah, altogether maybe 3 days.
Wow, okay. Now, and of course, when it comes to location, was everything outside, like in somebody's home, somebody's property?
Well, yes and no.
Yep.
A lot of it was filmed at their house.
Okay, okay.
Then we had some wonderful people, Wes and Carrie Kitchens, that I worked with. They have a 15,000 acre farm, and they absolutely cut us loose to do whatever we wanted to on their farm. We will be forever eternally grateful to them for the trust that they had in us and how much they absolutely supported us. The whole little community supported us. They would have people loaded on hay wagons driving by, being pulled by trucks so they could see what was going on. And little Salem.
Yeah, we were in the middle of nowhere.
Nowhere. Yeah.
And of course, I mean, was the whole intent the whole time to do a horror comedy? I mean, were you guys thinking like, hey, we're gonna make it gore and laugh at it?
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
thought it would be easier, to pull that off. We didn't have the experience, and we had never used the cameras before. We had never edited before. It was just a fresh experience for everything. So we thought that might be easier to pull off on a first time gig. So that's kind of what we went with.
And a comedy's a lot easier on the happy accidents, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
When you don't have a script and you can be funny with a bunch of people who have never acted before in 110-degree heat, it's a lot easier to capture that than it is for someone to be so serious and stone faced. And because again, I mean, none of them have ever acted before, so we definitely wanted to open with this one and see what we could do, and we did it.
Nice. And I was gonna say too, because I had read somewhere somebody was saying that like horror movies were kind of like punk rock music when in the sense that it's just raw, it's real, and it's just, I mean, you get real reactions, you get real faces, real, it's not scripted, and that's kind of what I like about it. Like I mentioned earlier, I mean, when it comes to indie film, the low budget itself, I mean, growing up, I mean, I mentioned, it was 8 of us, and always, because I was the youngest one for a few years, everything I had was hand-me-downs. I mean, everything. I mean, from clothing to toys. By the time I got the toys, they were broken, so I had to like glue them back and put them back together and whatnot. But I'm blessed, and I'm glad that happened, because I got to use my imagination a lot. Like I had to okay, well, this is a dirt road. Okay, you know what? That rock right there, that's going to be a castle, and I got to do a lot of stuff that a lot of kids now probably wouldn't have to do, because they have the internet and they got everything. I still don't even know how to use this damn thing, but they can, and but I mean, but that's pretty cool. But let me ask you, because it happened the way it did, are you thinking, you know what, we could have done this 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or are you guys glad that it happened when it did?
I think that it happened when it should have, but seeing how easy it turned out, I was like, I wish that we'd all met years earlier.
Right.
That's really where it all came down to. Opportunity meets, everything else. It all came together at this time. I just wish it happened 10 years earlier.
Yeah,
That'd have been great.
It was blind luck. Long story short, we met Leigh and Justin as vendors at Scarefest or at Days of the Dead in Atlanta.
Right.
And we buy way too much stuff, so we basically fund them for the year. And it started out from a vendor fan business partnership kind of thing to where we became friends, and it was just everything came together. Justin had all the equipment from his father. His late father he filmed low budget movies as well. He had all these cameras laying around. We thought, what the hell could it hurt? What's the worst thing that could happen? Is people panic. They don't like it. But you know what they can't do is take away from the fact we did it.
Yeah. No, yeah. You see, and I mean that's kind of one of the things. I mean, you guys should definitely. I mean, I'm sure you're proud of, but it's like as much as people talk, and as myself, I've been doing short reels and video reels, and I'm just like, man, I want to do something. I have all these ideas in my head, and I'm like, I want to put them on video, whether they turn out great or not. But I do want to put them on video. But the fact that you guys went out there, made it reality, and now here you are. I mean, of course, and let me say this because you guys met at a convention, and of course, when it comes to film festivals, is that going to be an option this year or next year for the film?
We hope.
Yeah, keeping our fingers crossed.
We've entered in. What all we entered in? First one.
Four we've entered in so far. Mm-hmm.
We're trying. First one coming up, Scarefest, October 18th through the 20th. Is that right? Yeah. That's the first one. We should know something on that one by, I think, Monday.
Yeah,
we're all
30th.
Nervously excited, but at the same time trying to be realistic. There's almost 400 films entered, and they're going to take 30. So,
no. But you see, I mean, one of the things, I mean, when it comes to film festivals, especially myself, I mean, we have one here in Houston for the Houston Film Festival, of course. But it's great because there's films there that we probably wouldn't have seen, or you know what I mean? Like a lot of them do get swept under the rug, and people just don't get to see them. But the fact, even if you guys don't put it out there, I mean, you guys are already planning a Blu-ray, of course, release. So, I mean, either way, people are going to be able to see it, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, we hope to get out to as many people as we can. That's the ultimate goal, But we'll see how that goes.
I just want to I think the thing I want to do, I just want to make people laugh. I'm a big idiot. I mean,
I can tell he is a big idiot.
That's pretty much.
Okay. Nobody disagrees. Nobody disagrees with me, Carl.
Yeah, it's the whole MotherShrucker character. Pretty much me on a regular day.
You see,
it's a character.
And I was going to ask you all also. I mean, when it comes to the design or the artwork, was that the actual DVD cover that I posted?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's the mastermind behind that?
We got there's an artist that goes to the conventions. His name is Terrence Muncie. Okay. And he just does really cartoonish work, but it's beautiful. We have quite a bit of it in our media room. It's something we always buy a piece of, just because, we love his artwork and it's so different from everyone else's. So we always try to support him, and we asked him if he would be willing to do it. And he came through with, shining colors. We gave him an idea and a background picture, and he went with it.
Nice. And I mean, has he done any covers for releases before for movies?
Honestly, I don't know. He makes movies as well, so he may have drawn some of the cover art for his own. But I honestly don't know that. He does, like I say, he has a convention booth, and he's really gotten into here the past year. He does like trading cards for Scarefest, and he's got some beautiful 24 by 36 prints. Stuff like that. But as far as other movie covers, I honestly don't know if he has or not.
Cool, man. Well, I mean, he definitely knows what he's doing, man. I mean, I saw it and I was like, dude, my first instinct was pop culture or pop art. I mean, it just made it pop, and it kind of goes with the film. I mean, I think he captured the whole horror comedy, because you kind of look at it and think, okay, guy walking around with I guess what would it be, like a corn head or what would,
it's like a big piece of corn on the cob,
and of course the convention, I mean, because you guys are vendors, I mean, you guys have been out there as vendors, so if you guys go out there, even if say the film doesn't get picked up, are you guys gonna have the mask out there? Is somebody gonna go dressed up for the next one?
Yeah, that'll be Carl.
It gets to be hot all weekend.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, how hot was that thing, Carl? Because it was 100 degrees, so that was like what, 140?
It was ugly. But honestly, I don't know how to explain it. Well, I mean, let's be honest. I'm easily distracted. I'm like a small child. And once I would be in the middle of something or doing something, I'd get focused. I never really, it was hot, but it was never really horrible. And now, having said that, there's a lot of times where I'm ripping the mask up because you can't breathe in that damn thing. I'd be like, hang on, we got to do that again. I can't breathe. I'm dying. But,
Everybody was like, Carl, it's not a dying scene. You're the
I mean, Carl was probably the biggest trooper out of the whole thing, because he puts the mask on, and just take a kill scene, for instance, any of them. He goes up, we do the before kill, Then Carl rips the mask off. He did all of our effects. So he bloodies the corn. He puts the prop in, whatever we're doing. And then he's putting the mask right back on, and we're filming it. And of course, you don't get one take after someone has blood all over him. So we're doing that, and he's ripping the mask off as quickly as he can, just drenched in sweat because, I mean, it was hot. And I mean, out of everybody, he probably had the worst job, but again, he didn't complain, and he loves doing that kind of stuff. So that's the biggest part.
No, and of course, and earlier I was asking as far as the age when you guys started watching horror. On this one, was there one film that kind of inspired each one to when they came to writing this or actually working on it?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I love Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
I think that movie is hilarious. I like any kind of like Ticks. I like anything that has any kind of a sense of humor in it. And as you probably known by this interview, I never shut up. I'm doing something stupid constantly. And I thought between all of that jammed together and the four of us, something was going to come out of it.
Someone else had kind of said earlier today, which I guess kind of subconsciously too, I don't think we did it on purpose, but really Nightmare on Elm Street, because out of all your horror icons, you don't have anyone that really trash talks. You have Jason and Michael who stalk and kill, but Freddy's always the one that he has the quick, whimsical one-liners, and Carl really did that. And while I don't think that was intentionally like, let's do that like Nightmare did, someone kind of brought that up today in a conversation. It was like I never really thought about it, but it's very true.
It is. It is. It was basically, we filmed, and there were parts where we're like, okay, we're going to go out to the corn, and we just want you to talk crap for 5 minutes to, and it was hilarious the way we had edited it, or Justin edited it in. And it was fun to just be out there just wide open. I didn't really think about what I was going to say. I just said it. And if it worked, great. If it didn't, we'd figure it out. But it's I'm sorry to everybody.
And
I was going to say another big influence, at least for me anyway, was Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Yeah. That whole redneck out in the middle of nowhere, don't know what they're doing, don't know where they're at. That's kind of what we were trying to go for.
That's us, except it was more real than
I was about to say, that's us on a daily basis, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
And what about you guys?
Really, I had no expectations. I was just along for the ride, and more like the chaos coordinator. I was the one when Carl was running his mouth in the background, telling him to shut up because we were the film. I was the main one on set.
She's like, Carl, be quiet, and then you just hear, yes, ma'am.
She did. She ran the set, and that's hard to do because, as I said, I
ran the set and the camera, and that was my contribution. I helped with some of the makeup effects, and that was about my extent, I would say.
No,
but she kept at the same time. She kept us all focused. She kept us on our tasks, and we needed that.
No, yeah, I agree. I mean, what they call control chaos. It's kind of all over the place, and you got to make it work, and definitely. And Justin, what about yourself, man? I mean, was there one film that you were thinking, okay, you know what? Let's see if we can.
Not really. Really, we saw The Mask, and we kind of made the funny pun of MotherShrucker, and then really just kind of wrote it itself. We didn't. Me personally, I didn't go out with any intent of trying to. I didn't have another film in mind. Was like, well, we can borrow this from that. I mean, I really didn't make, I pretty much ran a camera for this one. And I mean, I had some input, but really, I mean, this was more Carl and Eric really on the story. They really helped form it more than me and Leigh on this one.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, guys. I mean, did you guys, was that really them? Did you guys just start recording, or, I mean, was that part of the act? I mean, as far as the film.
Oh, it's just us.
No, I'm saying, I mean, because I mean, I'm sure you guys, Carl and Eric, man. I mean, I'm sure you guys had that chemistry. So of course I'm saying they just started shooting, and they were like, okay, that's the movie right there, man.
Yeah, we've known each other 20 years.
Yeah,
we both worked together at the same hospital as nurses for years, and we have a good rapport. I mean, we're like two girls. We finish each other's sentences, the whole 9 yards. acting with, doing things with him it was just us. It's how we would be in a normal day to day. And it was honestly, when you go back and watch it, it's like, yeah, that's believable. That's us.
So at work, you do have to tell them not to drink, right? Is that what you're saying?
That's it right there.
Man, and of course, when I saw the cover on this, I initially I was thinking, man, this would make up for a good comic book. So is that something that you guys are looking at?
I would love
it. Yeah, we've discussed it. And we may take that route, but we've got honestly a plethora of projects in the works. So yeah, it's going to be busy. I can say that.
Oh, okay, cool, man. And I mean, this film, I mean, when it comes to making the copies, I mean, of course, Justin said, the Blu-rays are getting made, but are you guys already, is that part of you guys already thinking about a sequel?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We were thinking about a sequel whenever we started filming.
Yeah, we've already, we pretty much decided on a title, a direction, and a lot of the silliness before this one was even filmed. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, it writes it really does. It writes itself. Yeah. It's when you're sitting around with the four of us. I don't know. I can't explain how chemistry developed that quickly between us because we've not known each other that long, and we've really only sat down and done things together just since April, and it fell together so comfortably. And there's a level of trust there. I mean, honestly, when you're doing something like this, there has to be a level of trust there because, I mean, this is out there for the whole world to see. You don't want to make an ass out of yourself.
I mean, you do, but not in that sense.
Yeah,
right?
not in that way. And the fact that this came together that quick, it's like four people thinking on the same track, but in different ways. It's comfortable. It feels good. And within the hour, we're like, oh yeah, I see sequel 2 and 3.
Any chance I get to insult him, I'll jump at it.
Oh yeah, yeah, he's so good at it.
And let me ask this. I mean, when it comes to the sequel, I mean, is Carl going to be able to talk on that one, or are you guys going to shut him up?
Oh no, he's got to let him have free reign.
Yeah. Oh, okay, there you go. That's a moneymaker right there, right?
That's right.
Man. And I was gonna say, I mean, when I was watching the trailer, I mean, I did watch it, of course, but I was thinking like, okay, you know what? I know you guys have fun with this. So when everything was said and done, were you guys already? Because I mean, of course, you were thinking about the sequel or a sequel. Were you guys thinking like, damn, okay, yeah, we got to get back to this? I mean, was it that much fun?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. It was that much fun.
Really looking forward to starting the next one. Really, to be honest with you, it's just been so much fun with everybody.
It's some of the fun things about it were the fact we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
And you would go back at the end of the day and realize what they had filmed. And you're just dying laughing. You're like, there's no freaking way we just did that. And then you go back and you could see this progression week by week by week.
Yeah.
We would go out there every week, and Justin's never edited anything. He bought a program, taught himself, and the progression of this movie from the raw first minutes to the finished product, that's all him. And he is to be applauded for I'm not kidding you, the progression was unreal from moment to moment to moment. And then when we were done, the first time we watched that together as the four of us as just a group, I'm not kidding you. I was like, I find it hard to believe that we did that.
No, you see, and that's one of the things because, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, I mean, I've been trying to film and it's hard. I mean, even here, I mean, I'm in San Antonio and there's like thousands of people that moved in here. But I mean, to find somebody that you can actually click with, and somebody that kind of sees what you're doing and be like, yeah, let's do something. I mean, I haven't found those people yet. My buddy out there in Austin, of course, he's a pro fighter. And I mean, he's the one that when we first started the Coming Soon podcast, he was on board. He does train professionally or fights professionally, should I say? But yeah, we were kind of on that same note. I mean, I'm older than him, but it was like, he got what my humor, and I was like, man, let's start filming, But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for what's to come because I mean, if this film was that much fun, then I can only imagine a sequel and see what comes out of that,
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest thing for us too is just meeting Carl and Eric because in the area of which we live, horror is not well received. We are, in that Bible Belt area, and people just they don't like horror, and that's fine. That's their opinion. But being able to go out and find two people that are like-minded who want to do something like this, who as we've said, they can play off us and we can play off them, and we, there is no ego. There's no, well, I want to do this and you're stupid if you don't. I mean, we work well together, and because I think it's not a work relationship, it really is a friendship. And so, I mean, I can't wait to do more. That's most definitely in the works.
Man. And let me ask this, because of course, I mean, the trailer was released, but I mean, kill scenes. Can you tell us how many kill scenes were in this movie, or do we have to watch it?
Oh gosh,
so 7.
7.
Okay. And when it came to the kill scenes, because I know, I mean, we shot a indie film the other day, and of course, the director was like, okay, we're gonna shoot this, and he's like, oh yeah, and by the way, you're gonna die. And the actor, they're like, what? Like, I mean, they don't know. They're kind of stuck, but I mean, but it's part of the, it's part of film, right? So, of course, the people that died on the first one, they're not going to make it to the sequel, right? Unless they come back as zombies, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah. And they loved it. It kind of turned into a little who's going to get killed the best, kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it was something we'd never done. We didn't know how to do practical effects. I mean, I had an idea. I was a combat medic in the Army, and in San Antonio, ironically, went to Fort Sam.
There you go, man.
One of my best friends still lives there, Monty Turner. Monty, when you watch this, holler at me, brother.
Yeah, there you go. I'm going to have to bring you guys to film the sequel out here in San Antonio,
there
man.
You go.
Make it happen.
But I learned a little bit there, doing moulage classes and stuff, but we didn't know how to do practical effects. We just knew we didn't want crappy CGI blood.
Yeah.
And, that kind. And I thought, what's the worst that can happen is it sucks. We'll redo it. But we just ran with it, and we kept it off. And I couldn't be more happier about that. Are they perfect? Probably not. Are they anatomically correct? Yeah. Been a nurse for 40 years. We got that, And I mean, I'm happy with it. We're happy with it. It was a blast.
Nice, man. And of course, I mean, the Blu-ray's coming out, but I mean, is this going to be streamed as well next year, maybe, or are you guys just
hoping
physical media? Okay.
Well, we're hoping it's going to get shown at some of the festivals,
right?
And we're going to rent a local theater here and do kind of like a premiere,
yes.
Family, local folks that want to come see it, that kind of thing, and mainly just try to push it through the conventions. And we're in a couple coming up, like I said, Scarefest October. Days of the Dead. When is that? February?
February.
February. We had a couple of them that we're really trying to get into, and the Japanese market, they love this stuff, so we entered 1 or 2 there.
Oh, nice, man. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that makes sense, man. Throw it outside the country, see who else takes that in. And that's one of the things that, I mean, of course, like I mentioned earlier, I am streaming live on 5 platforms, and for some reason, like I get a lot more hits in the Philippines, so I'll take it. I was like, man, I can be famous somewhere. I'll take it. I'm not gonna.
I'll take that 15 minutes from anywhere.
Oh yeah, definitely. But as far as merchandise, I mean, what are you guys thinking for the film? I mean, have you guys gone that far as far as like shirts or?
Yeah, we've got T-shirts being made. We approved the design today. So they're in the works, and we're hoping to have our website up on October 1st, hopefully. So, we're working on it. So,
maybe hopefully, I hope we can do some posters. Full size, 11x17 stickers. The business cards. We're going to keep that up, putting business cards everywhere. So you're shucked with that, because we're going to throw those things all over Scarefest. I don't know what to tell you. They'll be everywhere. Stickers galore.
And now, and let me ask, because on this one, when it comes to the, of course, the film, did everybody like make an appearance on it? Like, as far as cameo, I mean, was everybody an actor in the film?
Yes,
every one of us.
Yep.
And did anybody die in the first one from you guys? Can we tell us that?
No.
Can we even say?
Yeah.
We'll just say no and leave it at that.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
sort
And
of.
the only reason I was asking was because I mean, when it comes to indie films, a lot of times it's like, okay, we need somebody that's gonna die. Okay, you know what, the camera guy, get in there. You're gonna die, and you're gonna film anyway. So they kind of kill that guy, and you know you got to work behind the camera. So is that kind of? I mean, did that happen on this one?
We almost had to pull a gun on Leigh just to get her in it.
Yeah.
She didn't want to do it. He's like,
Forced. She was forced.
we needed a wife, okay, and that's where she comes.
There you go. There you go.
We had
And,
kind of the opposite happen. We actually, I think I can say this without giving anything away. We actually killed off one character. Wish we'd never killed off.
Yeah, but kind of a
Little
won't give
did we
anything
know.
away, but there may potentially be some leeway there with that. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
hopefully.
You have to watch part 1, and then you got to see what happens in part 2.
no, yeah.
Part 2 is
And
not
also-
actually written yet, but there are some might be some walls we can break down and some things we can make happen with that. We'll have to see.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
we will see. We will see.
And I was gonna say too. I mean, you know, when it comes to, I mean, there's plenty of movies that do bring characters back, and they just kind of dress them differently, or they play something else. You know, so of course, I mean, that's always an option. But sequel. I mean, what are you guys thinking? I mean, of course, this will be like towards 2025.
Yeah, we'll have
Yeah.
to wait for the next corn season to make it plausible.
I
So,
didn't even think about that.
yeah,
so
we
we're
are.
looking probably like next June, next July.
Yeah. So
I
back in
figure
the
we
heat,
got so good
back in
now
the
we
heat
can film the
again.
next one.
But we're working on one this winter that's a lot darker and more
Seriously.
serious.
It's very,
So-
very serious.
Cool, man. And well, let me say this. I mean, of course, I asked about movies as far as inspiration, but when it comes to music, was anybody inspired by music? I mean, was that? I mean, I could. I mean, it is art, so of course, you know, I always think put one in one. But I mean, was there one song that maybe each of you guys kind of like, okay, you know what, listen to it that day or whatnot?
I played AC/DC every day before I
Oh,
went.
there you go.
That was
Well,
my jam.
And
So,
ironically, one of the actors in the movie's in a couple of bands, and I'm a musician. So originally, I was going to do all the work, all the soundtrack for it, and just couldn't. Didn't have enough time. So we borrowed some songs from his band Maywin, and
Nice.
one of those songs I listen to almost every single. I still do. I listen to it all the time. I absolutely love the song. There's something about it. It's just really. It's a slow tempo, real dark, real moody, real kind of, I guess, atmospheric.
Nice.
I don't know. That song just touched me. It reached me. And then I did a lot of the acoustic stuff in the movies, me just banging on Martin.
Sweet. What about you guys?
We were kind of the same way. Just we were 2 hours from the filming location, so driving out a lot. We did a lot of Maywin listening because Aaron being in the movie. I definitely wanted to use some of his music. It's I guess Maywin would be considered almost like a '90s grunge kind of. They're real, they're not real heavy. They're more kind of softer grunge, and we wound up listening to a lot of their stuff, and we even listened to some of his other band, Crown, which is completely the opposite. Complete like
very hard rock.
very hard, like almost like screamo, like a death metal kind of thing. We kind of listened to both of those, not necessarily to, I wouldn't say get pumped for the movie, but more so just while we're driving, we might as well, research what we want to use from him and what fits this scene or what fits that. So that was most of what we listened to and kind of inspired us for this.
And it helped a bunch because the different, I mean, let's be honest. You think horror movies, what do you think? You think heavy metal, you think rock, punk. You look at the things, it's in this area, like they said, this is not a well thought of genre, and it's almost looked at like pornography. So, and so was punk and rockabilly and metal music. That's all shunned and frowned on. It's not looked at in the same vein as pop music or classical music, and that's the things that we've all been drawn to since childhood. I never wanted to be a crowd follower. I wanted to do the things that made me feel good, and that was metal music and punk and skating and stuff like that.
Nice, man. Damn, Carl, I didn't know you skateboard, Carl.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sweet.
I'm
man.
not supposed to.
Man.
I'm 61, needing a hip replacement.
I was gonna say, man, I expect the MotherShrucker to be having a mohawk in the sequel, man. So we
yeah.
pull that off, man.
I think we should have the corn shuck mohawk.
There you go, man. Let's make it happen, man. You know, too. And I agree. And you see, and that's one of the things. I mean, it's funny you say that because for me, like, it wasn't until I got to high school. I used to skateboard since like the early '80s. I didn't start skateboarding, like doing tricks, till like 86, 87. But when I went to high school, I was listening to rap and rock, and one of my classmates was the skater, and he was like, "Oh, you know, he had this shirt, Dead Kennedys." And ironically, we were going to Kennedy High School at the time, and I thought he wore that shirt like as a prank because I was like, "Dude, that's funny." And he's like, "Oh, it's this band." Like, he gave me a cassette, and I'm listening to the songs, and I was like, "Damn, those are the songs from that movie," you know. And there were like a lot, like the Germs, and a lot of these songs, and I always told people, yeah. You know, I told people, I said, it's funny because I was a fan of punk rock music before I knew what punk was. You know, it's just from the films and everything that I was watching, and I mean metal, of course, too. You know, but yeah, I always put one and one, and you know, it makes sense because even now, I had a zine in the '90s, and the Working Class Nobody zine is actually something that we're revamping, and we're doing the same thing with indie films that we're doing that with indie music that I want to do with indie films. You know, I want to promote it. I want to bring people on. We're going to do paper format, which is kind of cool, and I'm looking forward to, but it's just something that we're going to do quarterly. And at the same time, you know, I've already had a few bands on here jump on from England and Canada, and it's just like I want to keep it going, you know. But at the same time, I kind of want to do what you guys were doing. Is kind of like, you know what? I mean, indie music's trying to get out there. Like, hey, there's an indie film that needs music, you know, try to connect the dots and see if I can make that happen as well. But, you know, everybody get exposure. And, of course, you know, everybody's trying to, I mean, having fun with it and see where it goes, you know. I mean, hopefully, you know, in due time, you know, start getting paid, making some money.
Yeah. If nothing else, our goal, believe it or not, our whole goal was just to break even.
Yeah.
You know, and know that we put this, I would get the most play. I love to make people laugh. That's what I've done since I was a kid. I'm an idiot. And I would rather somebody buy this movie and laugh. Yeah. That would mean more to me than the money ever would. I just want somebody to know. I just want to know somebody actually enjoyed this movie and they thought it was fun. Yeah, I hope they have as much fun watching as we had making it.
I was gonna say, everybody said you can have the laughs and they'll keep the money, so you're good there.
You got that recorded.
But they'll cut you out of royalties, man. You already lost there, buddy. But
yeah, I'm done.
But let me ask you this. I mean, sequel. I mean, The Mask is. Are you guys gonna reuse The Mask? Or are you guys working on something else?
Right now, currently, we're, what do you want to say, modifying The Mask, maybe?
Yeah, we're looking at different avenues. Kind of, we've talked to some people at a big Horror Hound. Actually, just had their big Mask Fest in their horror convention. So Leigh and I and Carl went to that, and we did talk to a few mask creators about not only revamping the mask, but potentially getting a new mask and maybe changing MotherShrucker's look. But again, we'll just kind of have to wait and see when part 2 comes out what we decide to do, because honestly, no decisions have been made.
Nice, nice. Well, hopefully you guys do put that mohawk on him, man. I'm looking forward to that one. So
now that you've said that, it's got to happen.
Yeah. Maybe
and a cornstalk guitar.
Yeah, we'll see him skateboarding down the cornfield. We'll see how that happens, how that works, you know. But,
I'm thinking it's got to be pink, and Jenna, and purple.
Nice. I agree, man. But yeah, I mean, of course, I mean, the movie, I mean, you guys are working on something else, so of course, I'm sure we can't plug that in too much. But when it comes to social media, I mean, of course, I know you guys are on Facebook, on Instagram, under the podcast, because you guys have a podcast as well, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, under Horrorland Media on Facebook and Instagram as well. And MotherShrucker actually does have its own Facebook page for all updates. But yeah, the YouTube channel is Horrorland Media, and then Facebook and Instagram, all that is under the same thing.
Okay, gotcha. And of course, no other social media outlets like a TikTok or anything like that.
We do have a TikTok. It is, I believe my TikTok's Horrorland Media as well.
Yeah. We don't put a lot on there.
No, I don't.
We could do better on that.
I don't. Yeah, we mostly just post like we're here this weekend. Come out and see us for conventions. I put a few things for MotherShrucker on there, but TikTok is really just a good way to keep up with where we're going as far as conventions go.
No, yeah, I agree because I get on there as well, and it's just like, man, it's I get lost. I don't know how to work the damn thing. And
A lot of the same stuff I see on there I can see on Facebook, so I don't do much on there, but I need to because it's a huge platform. I mean, it's huge, but we don't.
well, I mean, when it comes to Facebook or TikTok.
TikTok.
TikTok. Oh, okay. I was gonna say yeah, because I know I have a. I mean, I'm on every plug out there, and it's just like when it comes to, like Threads. I'm on X. I'm on everything. So, Facebook and Instagram for me. I mean, of course, those are the go-to. So those are the ones that I kind of put more of. But again, I mean, when it comes to production, I mean, are you guys upgrading as far as the masks, modifying? But when it comes to equipment, are you guys changing that? Or let me ask you this: what did you guys shoot with?
Lumix.
Man, okay.
Yeah.
And are you guys going to keep that? I mean, because of as far as like keeping the film the same?
We've talked about swapping to a different kind. We have a multitude of cameras, thanks to.
Oh, we got Canons.
Yeah, we have Z cams as well.
Yeah.
Which I think Pool Party Massacre 2 is getting ready to use Z cams when they film their next one. I do have a couple of those. We've got the Lumixes. Those are our main two right now because lenses and everything are so expensive, and we've got some good lenses with those. But there's definitely other cameras out there that I have. They just I mean, my dad literally, when I tell you my childhood bedroom that I lived in for 20 years, the moment I moved out, he took that over, and it is wall to wall horror, and then about half horror, and then the other half is nothing but camera equipment. I mean, the amount, if he had one of something, he had 3 or 4 of them, because if he ever got ready to go do something, he wanted to make sure it worked, and if this one broke, he had 3 more, and we are finding that out as we go through things, because again, I don't know what any of that stuff is. So I mean, me and Carl just spent last weekend going through a lot of that, and we were like, I don't know what this is, but here's 3 of them. It looks cool. Let's take it. So, a lot of it's just going to be learning on the fly, like learning how all the pieces go together. We, this one we do have shutters, so we'll be upgrading some stuff, because we did find shutters and lighting equipment and things that we didn't even use on this. I mean, this one was literally tripods, a shoulder rig, and cameras with microphones. That was it.
Sweet, man. No, you see, and that's what I liked about it. I mean, the trailer itself, like I said, it was raw. It was, like I said, it had indie film written all over it. I mean, the fact that it's a horror comedy, I mean, that's my forte. That's what I love. It's just, and I can't remember. I know Carl was saying like he had those one-liners. Well, I think Justin, you were saying, compared to like Nightmare on Elm Street, right? With Freddy Krueger kind of having this little. There was a movie that I had seen that I think it was like filmed in the 70s, but it was this killer in a high school, and the whole movie, like all you see is his big rubber boots, and he had this little one line that he kept blurting out.
Student Bodies.
What is it called?
Was it Student Bodies?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You see, and that's what you see, and that, man, forever I was like, man, it would always come out when I was a kid, and I would always watch it, and it was like the same movie over and over, but for some reason. It got my attention, and every time I saw it, I was like, okay, I was stuck to the TV. So, and that's kind of what it reminded me of, because the whole movie you can't really see him, and it's just him talking and giving one-liners or giggling or laughing, and I think that's what kind of made it out. You kind of waiting to see if you could see his face, but yeah, but of course, on this one, I mean, are there any chances of it being released on VHS?
I would honestly. Personally speaking, I would love to see that happen, but we don't have the equipment to do it, and I don't know what the expense would be to find a proprietary outlet that could convert Blu-ray to VHS. It would be, and I buy a lot of VHS. Like there's a movie that was filmed for VHS called Snowblind.
Yeah. That's
family new. It's like 25 minutes short, but it's filmed for VHS, and it's freaking great. It's just, it feels good. You see that it's your childhood. I'm 61, and that's how people did indie films back then. You had a Canon, shoulder cam, and that's what you did.
Blood things were heavy too.
Yeah.
And I actually have, I found it at a real estate home sale, and it's an old a beta video camera, and it still works, man. Like I have it on there, and I put my beta tapes on it, and they'll show and all, but yeah, I mean, I could just imagine. I mean, I know there's companies out there that do the transfer to as far as digital to VHS, but I mean, I'm sure, I'm sure it'll be costly, and you guys trying to keep it on the budget, man. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, of course. So the Blu-ray. I mean, as far as extras, are you guys gonna have extra footage in the background? Maybe like bloopers, or is the whole?
Oh yeah, there's bloopers on there.
The Blu-ray comes with a blooper reel and the trailer as far as extras.
Oh, okay, sweet, man.
So, we wanted to get something where, like a cast interview or something like that, but it is extremely hard to get everybody together just with work schedules and everything. So that was a missed opportunity, but we definitely understand that was a missed opportunity, and definitely everything we do going forward, maybe while we have everybody in one place, we can do that. It was just so hot that we were like, okay, we're tired, we're done for today, and we didn't get it done. But that's definitely something that we want to do moving forward.
And we do have the one we filmed at the premiere.
Oh yeah,
we could put on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. And we would. I think I'd like to do that.
It was kind of a wide shot. It's not really. Yeah.
Yeah, just for something. It's somebody wanted to see it.
Yeah.
And thank you. The cast means a lot to us. Without them, this would not be what it is.
Well, no, for sure, man. And of course, when it comes to the premiere, I mean, you said as far as renting a theater locally. So when is that going to happen?
We were hoping October, but now we may still be able to do it in October. I don't know.
I bet you it ends up being November.
Probably November. I'd love to do it Halloween night, but who knows? I mean, we've got the convention the 18th through the 20th, so right there in the middle of, trying to get to find the venue free, where you could actually get into it. And it's really cool because it's an independent theater. It's called Maiden Alley Cinema. Local. It's an independent theater, and they have their own independent film festival every year. And it's really cool. They show a lot of really good films. They show a lot of older films that they bring back to the big screen for people that never had the opportunity, like Jaws, Halloween, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Be able to see that on the big screen, man, definitely. Mm-hmm. Well, guys, I mean, man, I appreciate you guys jumping on here. I mean, of course, I wanted to get a lot of questions answered, and I did. I mean, as far as the sequel, I mean, I'm excited about that. I haven't even seen the first one yet, so I'm excited about getting a copy. Like I was telling Justin, I'm definitely going to be ordering. I mean, it's going to be on Blu-ray. I think I just started recently buying Blu-ray. Like I was buying DVD. I'm still collecting VHS. I got like a whole bunch, and I had a lot of freaking VHS. But yeah, I mean, anything you guys want to say before we wrap this up? And I'll start from the top. Justin, Leigh.
Yeah, I mean, again, the main thing is just if you watch this movie, if you like it, great. If you don't like it, that's your opinion. That's perfectly fine. But we set out to do something, and we did it, and that can never be taken away from us. And to see what we accomplished with the cast that we did it with, never having done anything, to me really is amazing. And we are just so extremely thankful to the everyone that was a part of it, and we can't wait. One thing we have kind of touched on, and this is not, we've mentioned this in other stuff, but Concept Media Films, Sean Burkett's company, he uses the same few people in every one of his movies.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of, he has his little group, and that's what he does, and we kind of want to do the same thing, and use this core group of people moving forward, maybe not for sequels necessarily, but in other movies, because we have all got ideas. And so that's something really big. We want to keep the people who helped make this first one so special and build on that. And I'm excited to see what the future holds.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just thank you for having us on. We really appreciate the exposure and your time. So we appreciate that very much.
Yes. Thank you guys. And Carl, Eric, what about you guys? Anything you want to say before we end this?
I just wanted to say, the whole point of this whole thing was we all got together and said, I don't care about making money. We just want to have a good time. And boy, we did that. We had a great time doing it. And we made some lifelong friends and those two yahoos over there. So, that's been our big takeaway from all this. And we can't wait to do some more with it. So
nice, man. Well said.
Just for me, I can't tell you how proud I am. It means the world to me. And met great people, made some friends. More than anything, Justin said it, man. No matter what happens, if critics and fans pan this thing and use it for Frisbee, for those 3 days, 4 days we filmed. Nobody can take that away from us. Those are forever in the memory banks. I will never forget the laughter. I'll never forget the fun. I'll never forget stupid stuff. The bloopers, every little moment of that will be forever seared in my mind. Those are 4 or 5 days that were some of the best days of my life. They meant the most to me.
No, well said, guys. And I appreciate you guys jumping on here. Like I said, appreciate your time. Everybody out there, of course, make sure and follow them. Of course, like they mentioned, MotherShrucker is on Facebook, Horrorland Media, of course, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. So, of course, thank you for jumping on here. Don't hang up yet, guys. Everybody, of course, once again, Spider here, Coming Soon Podcast. Till next time.